Sounds of the Week on iRadio.
We don't have people who will actually deal with that crime, computer misuse and all this. Who do, even in universities, our public universities, there's no technology. The students graduated without knowledge of a simple computer science knowledge, mapping. This thing to do with IT. So people who do computer crimes, these cyber crimes are people expert in IT in the world, like China, USA, and the countries in US, Nigerian. They do scamming, they do cyberbullying because they are experts in this technology. But a country where we just only know TikTok, we dance only in TikTok song and Facebook posting our photos, and if we did something wrong, you only to criticize the politicians. This law are passed just only to deal with the Facebook users. Nothing else. Who know what health technology are they going to tell us? And let me make it clear to the MPs that actually they have all failed MPs. They do not deserve to make law because they done nothing to the people of South Sudan since they joined that parliament. What else they have done? They did nothing.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio. Your eye on South Sudan. Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Good afternoon, this is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. The governor of Eastern Equatorial State, Louis Lobong Lejore, has confirmed that South Sudan People's Defense Forces, SSPDF, regained control of Ifoto following a security operation conducted earlier this week. The deputy head of the European Union mission to South Sudan says the recent surge in conflicts across the country, along with repeated ceasefire violations, is undermining both peace and the upcoming elections. And Bor County authorities have cracked down on youth gang groups locally known as niggers following a rise in attacks on civilians and disturbances to public order. These is stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Wol Mapal, and now the news in detail. The governor of Eastern Equatorial State, Louis Lobong Lejore, has confirmed that South Sudan People's Defense Forces, SSPDF, regained control of Ifoto following a security operation conducted earlier this week. The governor, who took part in the mission, delivered his remarks during a broadcast on the state-run South Sudan Broadcasting Corporation on Tuesday. Governor Lobong said the people of Ifoto would be the ones to celebrate most, citing the community had endured months of intimidation and abuse under the influence of a local armed commander, identified as General Patrick. According to the governor, residents were subjected to harassment, beatings, fines, and widespread looting of their property. He said traders taking goods to Torit were routinely forced to surrender half of what they carried. Lobong believed the population had long prayed for government intervention to restore order and remove what he described as criminals who had taken control of the area.
We are going to celebrate the Muadnin Bitabelede Alui Fotu. And as he fought to resume and de Kulu Asoro Adido Ma wallet with German and Gogolo General Patrick. The Karamanas, the Duku, the Nyakamo, or the Shulu Nazrek and the machine, Shulu Aja Vitobo, the Soap, the Tatoretini, the Shulu Nus, the Taja Alanda. And I'm talking, the Aunazal can be selling it. Mitain, Okuma, Beji, Otumu, which remained every man.
The governor also dismissed recent social media claims alleging that the SPLA-IO had captured Torit, that he had fled, and that a state security officer had been killed. Lobong pledged that government forces would continue pursuing those responsible for attacks in the region, saying the latest operation marked the beginning of a broader effort to restore lasting stability in Eastern Equatorial State.
وكله في السودان كله كلام الكبير المصري بيقولوا ديجر المصري بيقولوا في السوشيال ميديا قال لي I Wodel Masago Torit for Governor Jere, Liwade Kasuru, Alumonaino, Zeman de Kulu, in a machine or a Kura, with a Mujirimina Jajimu, who came and raided.
The deputy head of the European Union mission to South Sudan says the recent surge in conflicts across the country, along with repeated ceasefire violations, is undermining both peace and the upcoming elections. He's speaking at the fourth extraordinary meeting of the Citizen Board in Juba on Monday. Lothar Jashke said the implementation of the interim security arrangements in Chapter 2 of the peace agreement remains essential. According to him, the government promised a plan for the transitional period in September 2024, but so far no comprehensive roadmap has been shared. He said in a statement, and I quote, "The European Union, as well as many other partners like the chair of the African Union Commission, the AUPSC, the C5 and IGAD had called for ceasefire, dialogue and a return to the peace agreement implementation. In response, we have heard from the government the commitment to peace and the peace agreement. But the reality is the eruption of conflicts in many parts of the country between different actors, with a long list of violations of the ceasefire and the peace agreement. These incidents undermine peace and the election process, risk further conflict and break the national unity. Violence cannot be a tool to achieve political objectives. It only breeds more violence." End quote. Jashke called for the unification, training and redeployment of forces to address fragmentation and the lack of clear command structures. He expressed concern about increasing restrictions on citizen monitors and said the government must fully cooperate with the mechanism, which is crucial for the peace process. Jashke said security is vital for the December 2026 elections and that the National Electoral Commission cannot prepare alone without political guidance on key issues such as the electoral calendar. The EU delegation said it supports all efforts toward peace and stability but remains concerned about the lack of preparation and political decisions needed to fully implement the peace agreement. Jashke added that the government promised a plan for the transitional period in September 2024, but so far no comprehensive roadmap has been shared. This is iReady News. Bor County authorities have cracked down on youth gang groups locally known as niggas following a rise in attacks on civilians and disturbances on public order. The County Commissioner Elijah Manyok said the youth groups have been attacking civilians on the roads, prompting urgent government action. The order also sets out a protocol for handling those arrested. It warns that anyone found grouping with the suspected gangs will be detained and taken for investigation. According to Manyok, individuals may be released if they are registered as students or if a parent or guardian comes forward to take responsibility. He added that although the crackdown is ongoing, the total number of youth arrested has not yet been confirmed.
طبعا الشباب النجس ده الشباب اللي في لو حكومه طلع قرار بانه يرفضهم اذا كان لهم في الشوارع يرفضهم في بس يعني الشباب الصغار النجس باقي مواطنين في الشوارع. ده الموضوع الهاي هسه في البلد ما بعرف اتجوز ما بقدر بلد عامل ما في مشكله. عايز لقوم متجمعين بقضوم بحققوا معهم. إذا طلبوا بخليهم في مدارسهم. إذا أول أمورهم جاء بصرفوا لي وبدوا لي أول أمورهم. ده الحصل ولا حاجة هسه ما معروف هسه عن قبضهم كم لكنهم سعيين في الموضوع ده.
Elsewhere, a South Sudanese content creator based in India says the government must urgently prioritize digital content monetization, arguing that the policy would help reduce online misuse and support thousands of young creators across the country. Parino Garang, a prominent digital creator, is calling on the newly appointed Minister of ICT and Postal Services, Atanywa Gateng, to make content monetization a national priority. He says such a move would empower young people who rely on social media to inform, educate and earn a living. He's speaking to our radio via WhatsApp from India. Garang says monetization is not about promoting political propaganda or manipulative online behavior, but about encouraging positive, healthy and educational digital engagement. He says the absence of clear digital earning frameworks has contributed to the growing misuse of social media, where disagreements often escalate into insults, division, and incitement. Garang also praises the new ICT minister for what he describes as long-standing supporter for young people, saying he believes the government spokesperson is capable of championing policies that allow content creators to generate income from their work. According to him, enabling monetization would help young South Sudanese support their families, become financially independent, and pursue constructive digital innovation.
And today I'm calling on our newly appointed Minister of ICT, Honorable Atanj Atanj. We, the youth of South Sudan, respectfully urge you to make content monetization a national priority. Monetization policies do not only reward political propaganda or content that manipulate public opinion. Instead, they encourage creators to focus on healthy, positive, and educational content. This will help reduce the ongoing misuse of social media, where misunderstanding too often lead to insults and divisions online. Honorable Atanj Atanj, you have always stood with the youth. By championing content monetizations, you will empower thousands of young South Sudanese to earn a decent income, support their families, and stay focused on building a better future. We speak with one voice. The youth of South Sudan are ready to create, inspire, and grow. Please make content monetization a reality for us.
Garang is now appealing to the youth of South Sudan. Saying they are ready to create, inspire, and grow, and he calls on the minister to make content monetization a reality for the country's rapidly expanding online community. His appeal adds to ongoing calls from South Sudanese urging the government to prioritize digital content monetization nationwide. This is iRadio News. Finally, before regional international stories, the Chief Administrator of the Ruweng Administrative Area, Stefano De Malik, has issued a series of new administrative orders announcing changes in county leadership and appointments within the area's government. According to the announcement posted on the Office of the Chief Administrator's Facebook page, the Chief Administrator has relieved 2 officials of their duties. They include Mijok Bilkwe, the Commissioner of Lake No County, and Thonreal Chola Yot, a member of the Tourism and Investment Commission. He has also made several new appointments. Thonreal Chola Yot has now been appointed as the new Commissioner of Lake No County under Decree number 17 of 2025. Other appointments include Mijok Bilkwe, who has been named advisor in the Office of the Chief Administrator, Joel Mathiangakol as a member of the Tourism and Investment Commission, and Peter Dudi Miabok as technical advisor for local government. The Chief Administrator issued the changes on Tuesday, the 25th of November, 2025. This is iRadio Afternoon News. Now to the regional international stories with my colleague Emmanuel Joseph Akile.
A group of 24 Nigerian girls who were abducted from their boarding school over a week ago have been released, the country's president said. Armed assailants stormed the school in Nigeria's Kebbi state on 17th November, killing 2 members of the staff and abducting about 25 students. 2 were able to escape soon after. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu praised security forces for their swift response to the incident, although the circumstances of the girls' release remained unclear. Africa's most populous nation has suffered a spate of abductions in recent years, with more than 250 children abducted from a Catholic school last Friday still missing. Elsewhere, President Donald Trump's senior Africa envoy, Massad Boulous, has rejected criticism that the U.S. latest proposal to end the Sudan civil war is biased. The U.S., Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and the United Arab Emirates have been attempting to mediate between Sudan's army and the paramilitary rapid support forces, which have been fighting for more than 2 years. On Sunday, Sudan's army chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan said the latest ceasefire proposal was unacceptable and future ones would also be one-sided as long as the UAE was involved in the negotiations. And finally, parts of Thailand are battling record floods which have killed at least 33 people and prompted authorities to deploy military ships and helicopters to support relief efforts. It has hit 10 provinces across the country's south over the past 2 weeks, with the city of Hat Yai, a business hub bordering Malaysia, recording its heaviest rainfall in 300 years, 335 millimeters in a single day. Photos show vehicles and houses submerged in the city, while desperate residents await rescue on their rooftops. That's all from the regional and international scene.
Thank you, Emmanuel Joseph Akile. Up next is sports with Lesuba Memo.
Thanks for Wol Mapal. In the world of sports, let's begin at home. South Sudan's Bright Stars bowed out of the FIFA Arab Cup qualifiers last night after suffering a 2-0 defeat to the Syrian national team in Doha, Qatar. The match played under the evening lights saw Syria capitalize on the experience and early momentum, scoring twice to secure a comfortable victory and claim the final qualification spot. With the win, Syria advances to the group stage, joining Group A alongside host Qatar, Tunisia, and the winner between Libya and Palestine. For South Sudan, the result ends their journey in the tournament despite a spirited effort and moments of promise from the Bright Stars. The team struggled to break through Syria's organized defense and was unable to convert the few scoring opportunities they created. This marks a disappointing exit for South Sudan, but the coaching staff has praised the players for their commitment and the progress shown throughout their preparations and international outings. Syria now moves forward to the group stage, while South Sudan shifts focus to future international fixtures as the team continues to build experience and resilience on the regional and global football stage. The top 4 seeded countries will not be able to meet each other until the semi-finals of next year's World Cup for the first time in the tournament's history. FIFA has announced that Spain, first seeded, and Argentina, second, will be paired and placed into groups in opposite halves of the draw. France, third, and England, fourth, will also be paired, which means England will not be able to come up against Spain or Argentina until the semi-finals and France until final. Chelsea winger Estevao Willian outshone fellow teenage superstar Lamine Yamal in a sensational 3-0 home win over 10-man Barcelona in the Champions League. Estevao, 18, scored a stunning second goal after Barcelona went down to 10 men. Skipper Ronald Araujo sent off for a second booking just before the break. Pep Guardiola's 100th Champions League game in charge of Manchester City ended in a disappointment after the match change host was tuned by Bayer Leverkusen. Guardiola made 10 changes following their Premier League loss at Newcastle on Saturday, but the decision backfired in calamitous Ajax Champions League misery continued as they were beaten by fellow strugglers Benfica to leave them bottom of the standings. The Dutch side have been in torrid form in Europe with their 5th straight loss in the season's competition, following 3 straight in the Europa League last term. That's all in the world of sports. Back to you, Wol Mapal.
Thank you, Lesuba Memo, for the sports updates. Here bring us to the end of our news this afternoon, but first here is a quick recap of our headlines once again. The governor of Eastern Equatorial State, Louis Lobong Lojore, has confirmed that South Sudan People's Defense Forces regained control of Ifoto following a security operation conducted earlier this week. The deputy head of the European Union mission to South Sudan says the recent surge in conflicts across the country, along with the repeated ceasefire violations, is undermining both peace and the upcoming elections. And Bor County authorities have cracked down on youth gang groups locally known as niggas, following a rise in attacks on civilians and disturbances to public order. There is the end of Ivory News. If there is a story or an event you would like Ivory to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287 870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page, iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for news in Arabic at half past the hour. I've been your news anchor, Wol Mapal. Till next time, goodbye.